back then TikTok is still a platform where it's all about dancing and cringy, floating videos with your camera. No one's talking about TikTok, right? And frankly, I was afraid to tell anyone I was on TikTok. I was just doing this and seeing where it goes. But I didn't believe that there was a career in it or whatsoever.
Yeah.
I was influenced originally by a Tai Lopez video. It was one of his Here in My Garage video, and it hooked me. I bought the course. It was the 67 steps that inspired me to think about entrepreneurship. I was very young, still at school, not knowledgeable at all. At the end of high school, I doubled down on entrepreneurship. I was not making a lot of money, but enough to sustain myself. And I knew this was the path that I wanted to pursue. Right around this time, another person that I followed, Gary Vaynerchuk, was preaching TikTok. He was talking about it on all of his videos, how TikTok was the next big opportunity, the next YouTube. And I was fortunate that the timing of me hearing that was pretty good because I was out of high school. I had a lot of disposable time on my hand, and I was like, okay, screw it. I'm going to get on the platform. And so I started by posting 3 videos every single day. And in the early days, it was a bit of a roller coaster because the way that TikTok works is that it shows your videos to your local IP. So after my first video, all of my friends from high school saw it and knew that I was on TikTok. And it's the most
Damn.
humiliating thing that I went through at that stage, right? Because it was a cringe video. I didn't know anything about content creation. All my street cred completely plummeted.
Wow.
But another thing that Gary Vee preach is that you can't let other people's opinion matter. There's this thing called the spotlight syndrome, where you think people care about what you do, but actually no one really cares just as much as like
Yeah.
them. So, anyways, I decided to not give a fuck about people's opinion, and I was going to give this a shot and screw everybody else. My first few videos were the most random things ever. Literally, the way that I thought about it is, let me think of what are the things that I can do, that what interests me, and what are things that I can do. So I kind of just listed down all of my interests, and from there I looked on TikTok, like what videos are going viral in each of these categories. And all I did is I looked at the most viral video of each category and made a version of my own. So I continued posting 3 videos a day until one day, a video that I made about tech, I think it was something along the lines of 7 things you didn't know you could do on your MacBook. And that video got like 1 million views in a couple of days, which was amazing. You know, at the time I didn't even have 10,000 followers. It was just the very early days. It's probably like 1 month in. So I've posted about 100 videos at this point with no real success. I mean, my real first hit came at about 100 videos down the line, just to
Wow.
give a perspective of like how much I was pushing it, and that it was not all luck. I started to see a recurring pattern that whenever I did like tech related videos, so again, like hacks for your laptop, websites, Chrome extensions that you didn't know you needed, topics like that, people would catch on to it. And I was kind of interested about that regardless. So it worked out pretty well, right? And so I kind of narrowed down on this vertical. And one day, probably about 4 or 5 months after that initial hit, I made a video called How to Create a Logo in 30 Seconds. And in this video, I was showing how to use Shopify to make a logo, which then allows you to create a website. This video got 10 million views, or I think it got 10 million views in 24 hours. So
Wow.
absolute madness. My phone was like beeping every second, and I had to turn notifications on, and I was over the moon. A few days later, I receive an email from Shopify. I show up to the call and I see Toby Luke on
Holy
there.
shit.
The website crashed, and it crashed due to traffic overload, and they couldn't figure out where the traffic was coming from until Toby tells me that one of his employees showed him my TikTok video. So I didn't know before he told me that it had such an impact. And so long story short, he asked me if I could do it again. Lucky me, this is right around the time where Gymshark was also looking to get on the platform.
Wow.
Now, Gymshark and Shopify are close like this, right?
Yeah.
So I had Shopify refer me as a TikTok expert to Gymshark.
Wow.
So yeah, super lucky. From that point forward, I started getting a lot more referrals and inbound.
Yeah.
So the company Young with Solutions was born.
Wow.
And the purpose was to create this infrastructure where I could replicate what I did for Shopify and for Gymshark to more brands. If you make content on a daily basis and you remain consistent, you're going to grow a community. If you work with influencers, you're going to get spikes of traffic and eyeballs towards you. And if you run ads on the things that go viral organically, your likelihood of being profitable are through the roof. You can still scroll down to my TikTok and see all of these videos. I haven't removed anything. There's me playing guitar, there's me acting cringe, like after a gym workout and all of these things. I don't remove them. I can't watch myself because it's too cringe, but I don't remove them because that's what we're trying to preach now is, start broad and kind of double down on whatever takes off. I mean, that still aligns with your basic values, but that's kind of like what we're preaching today. And so I refuse to let this part of my past be erased.